Welcome, everyone, to the 2009 St. Petersburg Bowl presented by Beef O'Brady's, with Central Florida Black Knights taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights, the first meeting all time between these two schools. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey. Rob Stone down in the field joining us shortly. Bob, let's take a look at the headlines. First of all, for Rutgers, 5 consecutive bowl games. It's becoming old hat.
Well, for Rutgers, Greg Schiano said it best. Nothing has come easy for this team all year. It's been a grind. Even though they've won 8 games, because of the new expectations at Rutgers, you get the feeling everyone wants more. Mark, for Rutgers to consider this a successful season, they need a win tonight.
On the other side of the field, meanwhile, Bob, UCF going to its 3rd bowl game in the last 5 years, but still in search of their first ever bowl victory.
Well, tonight it's obvious UCF has a lot in their favor. First, they have a lot of momentum. They finished the year winning 6 straight Conference USC games. Second, they have motivation. They've never beaten a Big East team. And third, this is a home game for them. This Saturday is sold. This game is sold out, and it's all UCF fans.
Well, Bob, one of the key cogs for Rutgers, a bit of a question mark, and for more on that, let's go down to Rob Stone.
Thanks, Mark. That question mark is Tim Brown, Rutgers' leading receiver, 2nd team All-Big East receiver. He's essentially been on the shelf since injuring his left ankle in late November. Wednesday was his first full practice, and here he is in pregame. Running the pattern, the plant on that left ankle that is heavily taped up, and then the push-off, and it looks not great, but good enough. But this is really the telling image in my eyes, Mark, and you're all about track and field, so you know about the gait, don't you? This is not like an enjoyable run or jog. It's got a little bit of hitch to it. Now, it was interesting. Yesterday at the team luncheon, I happened to be sitting next to head coach Greg Schiano, and during the luncheon, they played a video of the team at Beach Day, and one of the images was Tim Brown coming down this huge water slide, and Schiano turned to me and looked and commented and said, boy, I wish I hadn't seen that, but I guess it means he's going to be good enough to go, and he is listed as a starter tonight. All
right, yeah, he did have a little hitch in his giddy up there coming off the field even now. Well, if you think that coming to a bowl game here in St. Petersburg, Florida is a reward, there's the numerical proof. 61 degrees outside. Meanwhile, in New Brunswick, New Jersey, the opposite end of the spectrum, the full gamut. This is what it looks like back in Piscataway at Rutgers at about 7:25 p.m. You know, here in St. Petersburg, you go out on a fishing pier, catch a little grouper of bass. Here in Piscataway, you saw the picture, you catch a cold. And we are underway. McDuffie for UCF with a burst. Quincy McDuffie on the loose. Deep into Knight territory at the 30-yard line. A little bit of home cooking to start things cooking for UCF.
What a way to start the bowl game if you're UCF. Just a great job blocking. I mean, Mark, he runs through a gaping hole right there. Good job by Rutgers of just keeping them in play. But that was a great job of execution on the kickoff return team that ranks 9th in the country coming into this game. That isn't the first time UCF's returned a kick like that.
A 65-yard kickoff return by Quincy McDuffie. First down and 10 for the Knights. Brett Hodges at quarterback. Out of the shotgun, and a nice defensive surge up front. Bryn Harvey gets nowhere. He'll lose about 3 yards on the play. Damaso Munoz making the initial surge and the stop as we take a look at the UCF starting lineups. A look at the skill position guys. Bryn Harvey, the team's leading rusher. And there's a look at the offensive line that really started to gel up front halfway through the season, leading to that hot streak. They've won 5 of the last 6 coming into this contest. Second down coming up for the Knights. Harvey still in the backfield. Pass complete to Harvey. And he got back some of that yardage, makes it close to the 30. Picked up 7 on the play as we take a look at our impact players, Bob.
Well, George O'Leary's teams are run first, and Bryn Harvey is a durable back. Look for him to get a lot of carries tonight, Mark, and try to wear Rutgers down. Bruce Miller, the defensive end player of the year in Conference USA, and defensive tackle Terrell Troop, 315 pounds. A really good UCF defensive front four.
3rd down and 9 coming up. The pass is picked off. Munoz. Damaso Munoz. Rutgers leads the nation in turnover margin, and there you see why.
Well, Damaso Munoz marked 27 starts from Miami. Just playing kind of a robber right there, kind of an extra guy. Rutgers in man-to-man coverage, he's kind of the bonus. The free guy just cuts in front of that crossing route. And you said it, Rutgers #1 in the nation in turnover margin.
And a great start for the offense for the Scarlet Knights. On UCF side of midfield at the 48-yard line, 1st and 10. Savage hands it off to his #1 tailback, Joe Martinick. And Martinick picks up a couple of yards. The 6-foot redshirt sophomore, 215 pounds, picks up, well, about 1 on the play. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for Rutgers. Joe Martinick picked up 923 yards on the season, has a chance to cross that 1,000-yard barrier before the night's out.
This Rutgers offense has really struggled this season, and particularly 2 of the last 3 games against Syracuse and West Virginia.
2nd down and 8. Savage with plenty of time. Finds Brown, still on his feet. And Brown with a 1st down at the 27-yard line. Bob Davie, let's look at our impact players.
Well, Rutgers has to throw the football tonight against this UCF front 4 down the field. And I think Tim Brown, I think that ankle's okay, Rob Stone. But there's no question he's their big play threat. Then Mohamed Sanu, a true freshman. He's one of the most versatile players in the country, a strong wide receiver, also the quarterback in their Wildcat set, as you see right here. And then Devin McCourty, a corner and special teams guy.
That was a 20-yard pickup. Here's Sanu in the Wildcat. Bob, they started to use this formation as the season progressed. And first, let's take a look at the defense for UCF that's going to have to adjust to that Wildcat formation. Central Florida's defensive front, one of the top ones in the nation, Bruce Miller, the Conference USA Defensive Player of the Year.
And a lot of experience at linebacker. Here's the question mark. In the secondary, you see right there, those are 2 true freshmen that start on that back end.
Martinick in the backfield. That's Brown in motion. Brown on the catch. And Brown pushed out of bounds at about the 24. Tim Brown, dynamic, diminutive, just 5'8", 165 pounds, out of Miami, Florida, and he is the inspirational leader for that offense of Rutgers.
Well, that ankle's getting a lot of attention tonight. But I think he's okay. I mean, this is a tough little guy right here.
Picked up 3. It's 3rd down and 4 coming up. Savage looking over to the sidelines. Under a little bit of heat. Savage with some elusiveness makes it down to the 17-yard line. It's going to be pretty close, and it looks like he just got enough for the 1st down, picking up about 4 yards. Using his feet there, this year using his arm. He set a Big East freshman record for passing yards.
Well, UCF that time, Mark, played man-to-man coverage. They had nobody left really to spy on the quarterback. And Tom Savage shows good athletic ability right there. Mohamed Sanu in. Look for the Wildcat formation again right here.
There's Sanu, number 6. Guy that's played virtually every position on the field, going back to last spring practice for the Knights. And the play clock winding down. Timeout called by the Scarlet Knights. 10:14 to go in the 1st quarter, just underway. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie and Rob Stone down in the field. A very explosive beginning. First, the long 65-yard kickoff return from McDuffie of UCF, and then the interception by Damaso Munoz to give Rutgers the ball back on UCF's side of midfield, and now they've driven it down, looking at a 3rd down and short coming. Check that 1st and 10. Rutgers offense coming back out onto the field. Ball at the 17-yard line. 1st down and 10. Mohamed Sanu going to run the Wildcat again. Remember, he has thrown for a touchdown pass this year, Bob.
Exactly, Mark. He's thrown 6 passes, 1 touchdown pass. He's a good-looking young freshman now, a strong player.
They fake the little fly sweep. Sanu keeps it himself. Still on his feet, and Sanu all the way down to the 2-yard line for the Scarlet Knights. A 14-yard gain and 1st and goal for Rutgers. Sanu shows you his range of skills on that run. 1st and goal, and Savage comes back in to quarterback the offense. Mohamed Sanu onto the Wildcat, and a whistle. The play is blown dead. Here at Tropicana Field, it's UCF in the white, Rutgers in the red. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie, Rob Stone down in the field, and welcome to those of you who are watching the New Mexico Bowl, where Wyoming defeated Fresno State 35. Mohamed Sanu onto the Wildcat, and a whistle. The play is blown dead. Here at Tropicana Field, it's UCF in the white, Rutgers in the red. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie, Rob Stone down in the field, and welcome to those of you who are watching the New Mexico Bowl, where Wyoming defeated Fresno State 35-28. Just underway here in the 1st quarter. UCF ran one back on the kickoff, 65 yards at the St. Petersburg Bowl, brought to you by Beef O'Brady's. And then after that, Rutgers with an interception by Damaso Munoz, taking it all the way into UCF territory. And after the penalty now, they had 1st and goal. They've pushed it back to about the 7-yard line.
Yeah, Tom Savage back in at quarterback. They've been using the Wildcat with Mohamed Sanu at quarterback, but back in their conventional offense.
Savage hands it off to Martinek, trying to get to the edge, and they run him down. Martinek pushed out of bounds at about the 5-yard line.
Let's go back and take a look at this true freshman, Mohamed Sanu. A good-looking true freshman. He's a wide receiver, but used a lot as a Wildcat quarterback. You see just how strong and physical he is. So this Wildcat formation, an integral part of this Rutgers offense.
Sanu's stats on the season, and he is the team's 2nd leading receiver behind Tim Brown. Brown was a big question mark coming into this game, and Sanu still in running the Wildcat. High snap, takes it off to his left this time. Sanu, touchdown, Rutgers.
He got a great block, Mark, from the fullback, Jack Corcoran. And Mohamed Sanu. Let's take a look. Out of the Wildcat, watch the fullback, number 19, Corcoran, looking for the linebacker, finds him right there. And this is a strong freshman player, Mohamed Sanu. Spent 12 of 15 spring practices, Mark. He enrolled early, graduated early from high school at safety. Didn't make the move until the end of spring practice, the offense.
Greg Schiano, the head coach of Rutgers, said that that's my genius for you right there. He was playing on the other side of the ball, but discovered his bright light just in time. There's the interception that set up the score by Munoz. And then Sanu brought it home. Back with more right after this. St. Petersburg, Florida, the Sunshine City as it's known in these parts, aglow at night right now, and back inside Tropicana Field, inside the bubble. Rutgers leading Central Florida 7-0, 8:37 to go in the first quarter, just getting underway. Mohamed Sanu capping an 8-play, 48-yard drive, using up just under 5 minutes on the clock with his 4th rushing touchdown of the season, and the Scarlet Knights leading the Knights of UCF.
Well, Rutgers #1 in the nation in turnover margin, and that really is the reason they're ahead in this football game. The interception by Munoz after UCF had great field position after the opening kickoff.
Keep an eye on Devin McCourty. He's run back a kick for Rutgers. This is McDuffie and Baldwin back deep for UCF. And they take it out beyond the 25 out to the 27-yard line. Battle of the Big East against Conference USA. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie, Rob Stone down in the field. From all of us at ESPN and all of you at home, season's greetings. Bob, you look at these two teams on the field. A lot of similarities, but significantly different.
Well, on the field, they're almost exactly the same. I mean, both teams 8-4. Both play really good aggressive defense. On offense, both kind of run-first, play-action pass teams. But what's really different, Mark, is their recent bowl history.
The bowl history for Rutgers, pretty good, and a big hit that time from Kitchen.
Mark, you talk about that bowl history. Rutgers didn't go to a bowl game for 27 seasons. Now they've gone to 5 straight bowls. They've won the last 3. UCF, on the other hand, they're looking for their first win ever in the history of the program tonight. So a little bit different bowl backgrounds right here, at least recently with these teams.
Yeah, and for UCF, Bob, a great bounce-back season this year after going 4-8 a season ago and missing out on the postseason bowl party. 7-0, Rutgers with the lead. The handoff to Bryn Harvey. Harvey leading the way for the fullback. Number 24, Brendan Kelly.
Take a look at George O'Leary. And you see that fullback belly they just ran? Not many guys still running that, but he is a run-first football coach. And here they are again, Mark, in the I formation.
Trying to get Bryn Harvey on track. He's the guy that ran for over 1,000 yards this year, leading the way for UCF. But good pressure up front and a sack by Bornehars. O'Harney's making the stop, and that's the 4th sack on the season for him.
Well, that time, Bryn Harvey, the tailback responsible in pass protection for the Harneys. Greg Schiano comes with the blitz. The thing you're always concerned about when you play Rutgers, movement, blitzing, defense. They've got a lot of good athletes up front, and that time UCF couldn't get the pass protection.
There's a look at the Rutgers secondary. Devin McCourty, the guy to watch on the corner. 5th-year senior, the leader back there. On 2nd and long, Hodge completes the pass out to the 40-yard line, caught by Rocky Ross, a pickup of 9 on the play. Ross, a 6'2" redshirt senior.
Quite a story, Mark. Brett Hodges, the quarterback for UCF, played at Wake Forest, was a backup to Riley Skinner, graduated from Wake Forest, got his degree in computer science, came here to study digital forensics as a graduate student, getting a 5th year of football. Took advantage of a unique NCAA rule to get that 5th year.
Forensics, he'd be watching a lot of CSI Miami then, I guess.
He actually wants to be an FBI and work in forensics. But that's a great story.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 76 of the offense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. 3rd down.
And for more on Hodges, let's go down to Rob Stone.
Hey guys, you mentioned he's working on his Master's of Science in Digital Forensics. Yeah, he's done all that typical CSI stuff already regarding explosives, the chemistry of things. On the digital side, he's learned to preserve computers and recover deleted files, all things I could have used a few weeks ago. In the spring, he'll be taking a virus class, where, as he put it, he's going to learn to hack a bit. Not malicious hacking, but, just the nice kind of hacking, Josie.
Oh, there's nice hacking. Okay.
Apparently.
All right, here he is, trying to hack that defense, but finding no success. Intended for Bryn Harvey downfield, and he overshot him. And it's 4th down coming up now for UCF.
Good job of coverage by Joe LaFay, the strong safety, number 26. Anytime the quarterback has that much time, Mark, it's tough to stay in coverage, particularly man-to-man coverage. Good job by LaFay.
Here's the punt, and Sanu has to back up all the way to the 15. He touched it. It's live, and UCF has it. All the way down at the 2-yard line. An egregious, severe error trying to field that punt by Sanu.
And Mark, I'll say this. I've coached in a lot of dome stadiums. This is probably his first experience ever as a freshman in a dome stadium. That is tough. Looking up into those lights at an indoor stadium is one of the most difficult things and a difficult transition to make. But we talk about turnover margin. Rutgers leads the nation. That time they coughed it up, but I promise you, that picture he just saw was different than anything he saw in high school looking up into that dome.
Well, you talk about room service field position, Bob, now for UCF. Just inside the 10, Harvey trying to move that pile and stopped up at about the 7-yard line. Imperio making the initial hit for Rutgers defensively.
You look at Bryn Harvey now from Largo, Florida, a half hour up the road. Supposedly 300 people here tonight, Mark, from Largo.
That's a lot of tickets for him.
Yeah, was really a linebacker, sophomore and junior year in high school. Dexter McCluster, the Ole Miss tailback, was actually the tailback for those 2 years. And he came over as a senior and gained something like 2,500 yards.
A lot of local flavor in this game for UCF. Hodges underneath and incomplete. Intended for Bryn Harvey. And another ironic twist of local flavor. Harvey and his teammates from UCF practiced all week at Gibbs High School. That's the same high school field that Harvey played his last high school game on and ran for over 200 yards in a comeback victory. 3rd and goal coming up for UCF.
Well, this UCF offense, out of 120 teams in the red zone, they rank 108th offensively in the red zone. So this has been a problem all year for UCF. Rutgers has an uncovered receiver out here.
See if they can find him. Complete. Touchdown. Aiken.
A little bit of confusion. Kamar Aiken on Billy Anderson, the corner. But Rocky Ross, the slot receiver, Mark, he's going to line up and be completely uncovered.
And the extra point is good, and we are tied at 7 apiece. So the turnover on the fumbled punt by Sanu, leading to a touchdown by Kamar Aiken out of Hollywood, Florida. That's his 8th touchdown catch of the season, the 14th of his career. Looking for the right stinger tonight.
Ready for an awesome lineup of all-American flavors? Then get your team to Beef O'Brady's. Rush our mouth-watering wings, blitz our juicy burgers, hefty sandwiches, and fall off the bone ribs. Touchdown Beefs. Good times, great values. Get them together at Beefs. Proud sponsor of the St. Petersburg Bowl.
Get together. See ya, Beefs.
Your bowl game headquarters.
I'm sorry, my signing still isn't very good. I learned a new sign to show you. Merry Christmas.
Save 25% on all Bulova watches. That's just one more reason K is the #1 jewelry store in America.
Do you like it?
Every kiss begins with K.
Oh my gosh, he's home. Hey, Mom. Hi.
Find some new hiding places because hundreds of games are 20 to 60% off at GameStop.
Joy to the players.
Ready for an awesome lineup of all-American flavors? Then get your team to Beef O'Brady's. Rush our mouth-watering wings, blitz our juicy burgers, hefty sandwiches, and fall off the bone ribs. Touchdown Beefs. Good times, great values. Get them together at Beefs. Proud sponsor of the St. Petersburg Bowl.
Get together. See ya, Beefs.
Your bowl game headquarters.
ESPN College Football, the St. Petersburg Bowl, is presented by Beef O'Brady's. Good food, good sports. See you at Beef's.
Tell you, the great part about going to these bowls are the banquets. Look at Rob Stone up there, Keith Tribble, the athletic director for UCF, and the players from both teams enjoying themselves at the kickoff banquet for the St. Petersburg Bowl. And hey, Rob, you did a great job emceeing. You downed a few plates, huh?
I come to eat, man. Free food's my favorite kind of food. Also, I set a bowl record, fastest luncheon in Division I football.
Brevity is the essence of wit, I was once told.
Buddy, absolutely. and yes, you're welcome for me filling in for you.
Duty's called, other ones. 4:31 to go in the first quarter. And Tim Brown is going to take a knee, and he'll take it out at the 20-yard line. Tom Savage, the starting quarterback, there he is for Rutgers. Interesting that, Bob, he didn't become the starter until the second game of the season. Dominic Natale was the season opening starter, but he faltered badly in the loss to start the season against Cincinnati. They got drilled, and Natale threw 3 interceptions in that game. So in the next week comes Savage, and he's been the starter ever since. A true freshman that set a Big East freshman record for passing yards this year. Actually, the highest rated quarterback recruit in program history. First down and 10. Let's see what kind of answer they have. Martinek. Good wheels, and the guy they just called Jersey Joe with a first down.
Well, you talk about a highly recruited guy. Joe Marcinek, Gatorade Player of the Year, #1 in New Jersey history in rushing offense. They come with a little counter play. He breaks it back out to the outside. Got a good block from Mohamed Sanu, the do-it-all freshman. This guy had 7,500 yards and 80 touchdowns in high school in the state of New Jersey.
And the amazing thing is that virtually no other FBS program recruited him actively. This pass complete. Tim Brown, and Brown is going to take it downtown. St. Pete's, hello.
I think that ankle's fine. But you see the talented freshman on this Rutgers team, Mohamed Sanu with the block, Tom Savage with the throw. But watch Tim Brown at the top. Just a square in route. The safety, a very poor angle from the inside out. I believe it was Michael Greco, #2. They were in quarters coverage, and the corner was outside leverage. The safety was inside, but the safety got way outside, and Tim Brown broke it back inside for the touchdown.
Tim Brown with his 9th touchdown catch of the season. A guy that was questionable at best to play in this game from 62nd Street, Liberty City, down the turnpike in Miami, giving Rutgers a 14-7 lead when we come back.
ESPN Monday Night Football, Giants Redskins at 8:30.
Let go. Just let go.
Oh, to just let go. Just let go.
Let's go.
Just let go.
Just let go for the fun. Just let go for the adventure. For the lazy and the crazy times where the ocean meets the sun. In this sandy white oasis, no matter what your pace is, you can get away, while away, hide away, break away, trade winds, island resort. Oh, come on, just let go.
ABC, your NBA Christmas Day destination. A full day of holiday hoops is highlighted by a stellar doubleheader on ABC. First, two of the favorites in the East square off as Dwight Howard and the defending conference champs battle the Celtics. Then, unwrap the highly anticipated duel between the best in the game.
Put that in your stocking on Christmas morning.
As Kobe leads the Lakers against LeBron and the Cavs. NBA Christmas Day presented by Sprite. The action gets underway at 2 Eastern on ABC.
Attention collectors, Ford has just authorized the National Motor Museum Mint to release this exclusive die-cast replica of the 1948 Ford F1 pickup, the first in the F-series of trucks that became the best-selling vehicles in the world. It has amazing details and parts that move. A regular $30 value, now yours for only $10. Plus, as a free gift, you'll also receive this precision die-cast 1956 Ford F100 pickup. According to many, the best-looking Ford pickup ever built. Another $30 value, it's yours free, just for shipping and handling. Don't miss this unique collector's opportunity. Two of the most popular Ford trucks ever, both with certificates of authenticity. A $60 value for the special price of only $10 plus shipping and handling.
Don't delay. To order your Ford pickups, have your credit card ready and call 1-800-859-6964. That's 1-800-859-6964. Call now.
Well, this is a battle of the Knights in the St. Petersburg Bowl, the second edition. The Golden Knights of UCF and the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers. And right now, it's the Scarlet ones with the lead, courtesy of Tim Brown, and that 65-yard touchdown reception a few moments ago. Look at the total yardage situation on what's happening right now and what's ahead. We'll talk about bowls and what they bring in terms of the student-athletes' off-field duties and obligations. And coming up later, Bob Davey is going to break it down on his all-decade team. Give me some real landmarks on what the last decade has brought in college football. 3:54 to go in the first quarter. A high-scoring one so far. McDuffie, who took the last kickoff return back 65 yards, this time brought down to the 23. Brett Hodges coming out to try and get some of that momentum back for UCF. Well, Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN. Sunday night as Damian Fletcher in Southern Mississippi face Dwight Dasher. And Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders in the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ESPN360.com Sunday at 8:30 Eastern. Boy, what a great game preceding us a few moments ago, Bob.
The Wyoming Cowboys. That's a huge win over Fresno.
Jonathan Davis now in at tailback. Hodges to pass and completes it to Rocky Ross. Ross still in bounds, he claims, but not quite.
Mark, let's go back and take a look at that touchdown to Tim Brown. Keep your eyes on Michael Greco, number 2, the strong safety. He's supposed to keep inside leverage on the receiver. Right there you see Josh Robinson on the outside. Michael Greco on the inside. The safety gave up inside leverage. That was just too easy right there.
Boy, Tim Brown certainly looks a lot different, Bob, than he did a couple of weeks ago in that season-ending loss in the regular season against West Virginia, where he virtually limped around the field, was largely ineffective. 3:41 to go. He's certainly put his imprint on the game already. And at first down, it looks like, for UCF on that run by Rocky Ross. There's a look at Ross, who's maybe his biggest moment this year was that touchdown that he had against Marshall. Game-winning touchdown with seconds winding down on the clock. A win that many people on that team point to turning their season around. First down and 10. Davis in a tailback. Under a little bit of heat, he got it off in time, and incomplete. Billy Anderson back there in coverage. He was covering A.J. Guyton.
That's a good call. I mean, Billy Anderson got his hands in there late, really for no reason. You know, he panicked a little bit. If he would have just turned around and played the football, as you've heard so many times, it wouldn't have been called. He panicked.
Number 35 of the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Yeah, A.J. Guyton, the receiver. Watch, Billy Anderson's in pretty good shape, Mark. I'll tell you right there.
Looked kind of clean, didn't it?
Yeah, it did there, but earlier he pushed him. There at the end, he does a good job of playing the hands. But watch, right there's the push. Then he comes in late and does a good job. But he really was in good position coverage-wise.
Makes it a 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. Jonathan Davis still in a tailback. Brendan Kelly, the fullback for UCF. Little bootleg action and wide open. Nisley, the tight end, with another UCF first down. At the 33-yard line. Boy, Brett Hodges really sold that fake, and they pick up 18 yards as a result.
Rutgers plays a lot of man coverage. Watch the tight end right here. The linebacker's going to have him man-to-man, Mark, but he's going to lose him on the play action. Watch right here. See the linebacker jump inside? Just turns the tight end, number 88, Nisley, loose in the flat. When you play man-to-man, you can't be peeking in that backfield now. You better look at the guy you're covering. But that's sometimes easier said than done with that play action.
Here's Hodges, hands it off to Davis, and Davis is stopped up immediately by Ryan D'Imperio. A loss of about 1 on the play. Let's go down to Rob Stone.
Hey, Jonesy, Rutgers going this series without their starting quarterback, Devin McCourty, a captain, a special teams leader. Really interesting. There's a barrage of about 6 of the Rutgers medical staff surrounding an in-stadium medical official. They talked to him. They kind of shepherded, a couple of the trainers did, McCourty into the tunnel to go into the locker room. Usually not a big deal, right? This is interesting, though. They had requested a wheelchair for him, but he walked in on his own power. Again, Rutgers, as always, guys, very tight-lipped about the medical news from the sidelines.
Mark, and that's why Billy Anderson, 35, is in the game.
They got a lot of pressure that time on Hodges, but he got rid of it in time across the 30 to Jonathan Davis, who picks up 6 on the play. But, Bob, back to McCourty. If he's not in there, what kind of effect does it have on them defensively?
Well, it has a great effect defensively because he's the best corner on this football team, an NFL prospect. It also hurts special teams. I mean, he plays about 25 snaps a game on special teams. He has 7 career block kicks. So Devin McCourty is not just a corner. He's a guy that played 112 plays against UConn when you count up all the special teams plays.
3rd down and 5 coming up. Pass complete over the middle. And a great burst of speed after the catch.
Yeah, they're going after Billy Anderson. Yeah, Quincy McDuffie, Mark, the freshman. 5'10", 170. They found Billy Anderson in man-to-man coverage, and they come with the crossing route right there. They have found number 35, the backup in the football game, but that is tough to cover those crossing routes in man-to-man coverage. They just run away from it.
Picked up 22 yards that time. 1st and goal coming up. And this time, Jonathan Davis stopped up. Interesting story about the emergence of Bryn Harvey. It came largely at the demise of Jonathan Davis. He was slowed down a little bit, and Harvey seized that starting job. It was previously pretty much by committee. Now Davis getting shot and Harvey on the sidelines. 2nd and goal coming up for the Knights.
Jonathan Davis, just a true freshman. Started against Texas, had 71 yards in that game at Austin.
He lost 2 on that play. Backs out of the eye. Davis dotting the eye. Hodges a little bit high and incomplete. Intended for Brendan Kelly, the fullback, and it's 3rd down and goal. 7 seconds to go in the first quarter.
Again, Mark, play action pass. Trying to take advantage of those linebackers and man-to-man. This is a good defensive football team. George O'Leary, an old defensive coordinator. More points in this game than I expected. I mean, 14-7, we're still in the first quarter. But the turnovers and the big play to Tim Brown, the reason for the points.
8th play of the UCF drive coming up. Into the end zone and incomplete. Intended for Aiken. And Guyton also there.
And Billy Anderson. Billy Anderson is a huge part of this football game now for Rutgers, Mark.
They're going after
him every snap.
They're trying to light up number 35 in red. But so far it's Rutgers with the advantage. And the city of St. Petersburg lit up at night. Back with the second quarter right after this.
Capital One Bowl Week continues through January 2nd.
Ready for an awesome lineup of all-American flavors? Then get your team to Beef O'Brady's. Rush our mouth-watering wings, blitz our juicy burgers, hefty sandwiches, and fall off the bone ribs. Touchdown Beefs. Good times, great values. Get them together at Beefs. Proud sponsor of the St. Petersburg Bowl.
Get together. See ya, Beefs.
Your bowl game headquarters.
Want to supercharge your high-def TV? You gotta hook it up to DirecTV.
Now get our best price until 2011. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
You know, for the active hobbyist like my friend Michael, eBay's really great.
Well, why buy new gear when I can get it used in great condition for a lot less money?
Absolutely, like your cross-country skis.
And my table saw.
And your flamenco guitar. How's that going, by the way?
I can't do this. I just can't do it! Great. I've mastered it.
For a good price on great gear, come to think of it, eBay.
I think I have to go to the bathroom.
There's no way to hide it. If you drive drunk, we will find you. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement and cracking down like never before.
Sir, have you been drinking tonight? Sir, have you been drinking this evening? Sir, have you been drinking tonight?
Make no mistake, you will get caught and you will be arrested. Over the limit, under arrest.
Oh, look, he went to Jared.
Excuse me?
May I see it?
Can I just get directions, please?
I'm afraid I can't do that.
Jared has 5 times the selection of ordinary jewelry stores.
Oh, Dave, you shouldn't have.
Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry.
I am more than a writer. I am more than an actor. I am more than a star. I'm a man. Only the brave. The new fragrance by Diesel.
This holiday, unleash the power of your HD TV.
We're all tickled to hear you say that.
With Inglourious Bastards on Blu-ray High Def. Perfect picture. Bingo. Perfect sound.
Sound good?
Yes, sir! Inglourious Bastards. Own it this week at a great low price.
This just might be my masterpiece.
So I collapse, I'm spilling these wax long as you fill them to the tape that I drop. You'll never say that I'm not hip-hop, and I'm just not that now. Till the lights go out,
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Get your limited edition Xbox 360 console.
Rated M for mature.
Hey. Welcome back, everyone, to the 2009 St. Petersburg Bowl, presented by Beef O'Brady's, as the Central Florida Black Knights take on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. I'm Mark Jones, along with Bob Davey and Rob Stone, down to the field here at Tropicana Stadium under the bubble, and this is the home of the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, the 2008 AL champs, for losing out in the World Series to the Philadelphia Phillies. The D-Rays. And the field goal good from 25 yards out by Nick Catoy. Let's go back to the studio.
It's time now for a bowl update brought to you by Flomax. As the stream of bowls continues here, it was a thrilling finish, a double overtime game. The New Mexico Bowl kicking things off. Wyoming, big underdog, wins in double overtime as Austin Carter Samuels to David Leonard. Only had one touchdown catch all season, gets the foot in. There was a goal line stand at the top of the first for the Pokes, who pulled a surprise and win the New Mexico Bowl in Dave Christensen's first year by a touchdown.
They're running the Men's Room Marathon,
with lots of guys going over and over.
And here's the dash to the men's room with lots of guys going urgently.
And then there's the night game.
Waking up to go.
These guys should be in a race to see their doctors.
Right. Those could be urinary symptoms due to BPH, an enlarged prostate.
But for many guys, prescription Flomax reduces their urinary symptoms due to BPH in 1 week.
Only your doctor can tell if you have BPH, not a more serious condition like prostate cancer.
When taking Flomax, avoid driving or hazardous tasks until you know how Flomax will affect you, as a sudden drop in blood pressure may occur, rarely resulting in fainting.
Tell your doctor about all medications you take. If considering cataract surgery, tell your eye surgeon you've taken Flomax.
Common side effects are runny nose, dizziness, and decrease in semen.
Ask your doctor if Flomax is right for you.
Call 877-4FLOMAX to see if you qualify for up to $40 off new or refill prescriptions.
For many men, Flomax can make a difference in 1 week.
For a limited time, you can carry out a large Domino's pizza with extra cheese and one topping for just $5.99. But there is one stipulation. Limit 256 per day. That is not happening.
For a limited time, carry out a large one-topping pizza with extra cheese for just $5.99.
In the NBA, you're always looking for an edge. You need to know your opponent better than they know themselves. Kobe, Carmelo, LeBron. I get my edge with NBA League Pass from DirecTV. I see every game, so I'm always ready. Are you?
Watch any NBA game you want, no matter where you live. Call today.
Now playing on DirecTV Cinema.
This is your day of reckoning.
This may be his next target.
I've been waiting for this my whole life.
Get one shot. Now! Either we're going down, or they are.
Fire everything! Do it!
Movies playing on channels 125 through 199.
And welcome back, everyone, to the second chapter of the St. Petersburg Bowl. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davie. Rob Stone down in the field after the field goal. It's 14-10 now. Rutgers out of the Big East with the lead over Conference USA's UCF. First day of Capital One Bowl weekend. This is really going to be a great time of the year if you're a college football fan. Already we've had one real riveting finish in the game prior to us. Wyoming defeating Fresno State in overtime. But the other side of the equation is that for these student athletes, football, the fun half of the equation, the other half is the equation itself sometimes. If you've got that algebra exam or calculus exam waiting for you back on campus. Rutgers' Tim Brown on the kickoff return found an alley and is brought down at the 31-yard line. And Bob, quarterback Tom Savage of Rutgers has already written a couple of exams. How difficult is it with them being in exam week to handle the team with that involved?
It's really different. I mean, Tom Savage, a true freshman, he has to go back home. He has 2 more finals 2 days after the bowl. And to be quite honest, there's some schools around the country that wouldn't have accepted this bowl because it does break up finals. So a lot of credit to the Rutgers administration.
Martinick in the backfield. Savage to pass. Fires incomplete, intended for Sanu. So you're saying that some programs would have just flat out say, hey, we can't go because of our academic commitment.
There's no question, Mark, because, for instance, UCF, they're done with finals. They were done with finals last week. Rutgers is just now starting finals. So there's no question there's a lot of logistics involved, a lot of problems involved, but I give a lot of credit to Rutgers administration for being able to make that work, and Rutgers faculty.
Sanu now running the Wildcat. Takes the direct snap, heads left. Mohamed Sanu out of bounds at the 34, picked up about 2, but this is a unique blend of strength and balance, isn't he?
I think one of the best players in the country. I mean, he's just a true freshman. Watch the balance right here. You're allowed to put that hand down to regain balance. This is a big, strong freshman. Mark actually didn't play his senior year in high school because he was too old, but came to Rutgers, was there in the spring as an early enrollee. As we mentioned, played defense, played safety for 12 of the 15 practices, but he is a talent.
A little premature movement that time, Bob, by Tim Brown of Rutgers. And boy, what a journey for Mohamed Sanu. You talk about a young man that's been itinerant and transient.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 2 on the offense, 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Third down.
Sanu was born in New Brunswick, New Jersey, moved to West Africa, and then moved back to the United States in central New Jersey, then to Atlanta, finally settling in back in New Jersey and finding his way to Rutgers University.
The Wildcat has become such a big part of college football. I mean, everyone is doing some form of Wildcat now.
Savage under a little bit of heat. And he wisely throws it away. And a flag down on the play.
Savage showing good athletic ability right there, getting away from that rush. UCF number 5 in the nation in sacks. They put a lot of pressure on the quarterback.
Illegal formation. 5 men in the backfield on the offense. The penalty will be declined. 4th down.
Bob, you talked about the Wildcat formation. Just to tease the fact a little bit later, we're going to talk about your decade markings on the landscape of college football. Might that be one of the things that is out there a little bit?
Wildcat late in this decade.
Okay.
That's a late addition to the decade.
See, now you got me intrigued.
So you're talking about scheme of the decade. It's not the Wildcat, but maybe the next decade.
Okay, we'll find out. There's the punt from Telegana. Ross. And it's out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Well, Monday night, don't miss an NFC East battle in the nation's capital as E.I. Manning in New York take on Santana Moss and Washington. Giants-Redskins on ESPN's Monday Night Football at 8:30 Eastern Time. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown, served by Applebee's at 7 Eastern.
Well, you know they have that field covered. Yeah. They better have that field covered. How about tomorrow? All the NFL teams in Baltimore, Philadelphia changing their starting time. Chicago Bears charter, hard time getting into Baltimore.
You weren't thinking about all that when you were taking your stroll on the beach working out this morning, were you?
Although it was a little windy on that beach.
Oh, I feel sorry for you. 13:33 to go in the first half. Bryn Harvey back in the ball game at tailback, and he is met immediately by Munoz. We talked about how the balmy tropical breezes continue to blow across the peninsula here in Florida. Meanwhile, up in Piscataway, New Jersey, in stark contrast, this was the scene at about 7:25 Eastern Time as that nor'easter continues to pound the East Coast. There's a look at Rutgers Stadium. The good news is they don't have to shovel it for a while.
Let me tell you, I talked to Greg Schiano before the game. Their charter's supposed to leave tomorrow at 1:30. The bottom line, if they win tonight, he doesn't care when that charter leaves. If they lose, he wants to get out of here as fast as he can, Mark. It all comes down to winning and losing the game.
Yes, sir. That's a winning pass right there by Hodge. Hodge is at quarterback, connecting with A.J. Guyton for 7 yards. Guyton, the team's leading receiver, and a comeback story in his own right. Missed all of 08 with an ACL knee injury. And a couple of weeks into the season, he felt he wasn't getting the ball enough and had a little sit-down moment with the coaches and talk to them.
Do receivers do that? I don't know the receivers would ever knock on that head coach's door and say, "Coach, I need the ball more." That's really strange.
The coach tap into me, milk me.
I got you.
Had a few of those, huh? Brent Harvey in the backfield, backs out of the offset eye this time. Hodges, not even close.
Munoz with great pressure. Kind of the second contained guy coming in there. Rutgers, Greg Schiano, you see right there, Mark, he is the defensive coordinator. Loves man free, loves to play cover 2. Everybody now playing quarters. They don't play a lot of quarters coverage. Munoz, a guy out of Miami. 11 Florida players on this Rutgers football team.
Greg Schiano, former defensive coordinator with the University of Miami, still with great ties here in the Sunshine State. Let's see what Mohamed Sanu does with this punt return. Trying to atone, and it bounces off of somebody, although I'm not sure it was Sanu.
Well, we don't have the halo rule anymore. Yeah, that's going to be illegal touching. That hit the helmet of number 23, Justin Body, I believe.
Took a carom back the other way about 15 yards.
That bounced off that UCF headgear, I think.
Sanu saying, hey, you can't blame me for this one.
I tell you, he is up in his grill now, yeah.
That Body was a little bit too close.
Sanu's probably glad the way he's been struggling on that, catching those punts.
Number 23 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Yeah, that's going to give Rutgers pretty good field position to start this drive. At about the 42-yard line, Sanu searching for a little bit of atonement when we come back to St. Pete's.
Every day is new. Each course is different. No two lies are ever the same. But when I dial in my Callaway irons, I have the confidence of knowing I'm playing the #1 irons in golf. Callaway, be bold, play fearless, hit it pure.
We started with over 1 billion colors. Generously added more than 2 million liquid crystal pixels. Combined 960 backlighting LEDs with 240 flawless scenes per second. Made it 50% more energy efficient. And it all came down to one thing. The new 55-inch True LED from Vizio. Superior picture performance. Superior price from America's #1 LCD HD TV company.
What if a moment standing still could be just as beautiful when it breathes? If some moments preferred to take their time. If photography moved us and we moved photography, and we could all see beyond the still. Moving photography in 1080p Full HD. Pioneered with EOS, inspired by Canon.
Hey, Vincent! Go State!
Hey, Ham. Why did that guy call you Vincent?
Because that's my real name, Bergwood.
It is? How do you know that?
He's my Allstate agent.
Oh, he insures your car.
And my boat.
You got a boat?
My wife's a big-time skier.
You're married?
Allstate agents know who you really are. Can help you save money by combining your car insurance with home, boat, and more. Are you in good hands?
Where'd you meet your wife?
Pilates.
She's European.
ESPN College Football, the St. Petersburg Bowl, is brought to you by Allstate, proud sponsor of college football and the Allstate Sugar Bowl. Are you in good hands?
I think Rutgers won the belly flop contest, Bob Davey.
Hey,
a lot of fun and games.
When you're a coach, how do you balance having fun?
I was just going to ask you that.
Getting hurt and winning the game. I mean, that is a tough job now. Let them have some fun, but we know the real fun is to win the game.
Yeah. Did you have an activities or fun coach on your staff?
No, I locked them in the dorm. I locked them in the hotel.
And Savage is brought down after a 2-yard gain by Terrell Troop, one of those 4 stalwarts up front defensively for UCF. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey, Rob Stone down to the field. Here's what's happening now. The total rushing yard discrepancy continuing to grow in favor of Rutgers. And here's what's coming up ahead. There have been some real indelible moments on the J. Cruz season. And we'll document some of them with you. And Bob Davey going to tell you about his Decade of Davey Awards. 2nd down and 8 for Rutgers. Savage hands it off to Martinick. And Martinick gains about 3 yards on the play.
You know, Mark, people may look at these bowl games, you know, and you always get the, is there too many bowl games? But 2 8-4 teams playing. I can tell you how important it is for these two teams to win this game, because the taste you have in your mouth after a season always comes down to how you finish the season. And these bowl games, on the big picture, may not be huge to everybody around the country, but they are to these two teams and these coaching staffs. It all comes down to winning the bowl game now.
The coaches talk about the extra practices being of so much benefit. 3rd and 5. Savage pulls the trigger and completes it for a first down at the 43-yard line to Mark Harrison, but there's a flag down on the field. Harrison has played in parts of 6 games, and he was a guy they were looking to fill in potentially and fill some of the void if Tim Brown wasn't able to go.
Well, you really see the potential of Tom Savage, the big quarterback, though. It's 6'5", 230 pounds.
Offsides, number 99 on the defense. That penalty will be declined. First down.
You know, Savage, Mark, out of Cardinal O'Hara in Philly, signs with Rutgers. He came to every spring practice, just drove up from Philly. You know, probably a 2-hour drive by the time he got up there. He was at all 15 practices. Couldn't practice. He just drove up, watched practice, and drove back. And you know what? It's paid off for him. Here he is, the starting quarterback, and a great future. And now Mohamed Sanu in as the changeup Wildcat quarterback.
Out of the old Wildcat here. And whistles, and the play is blown dead. Flags down in the field.
Dead ball. Delay a game. Number 6 on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. First down.
Capital One Bowl Week continues on ESPN Tuesday night with 2 teams ranked in the top 20 as Jacques Rogers leads an explosive Oregon State against Max Hall and BYU in the Mako Bowl, Las Vegas. Capital One Bowl Week on ESPN and ESPN360.com Tuesday at 8 Eastern. Savage completes another one to Mark Harrison. This time no flag, unless this one comes in late now. Could be a personal foul. Oh, boy, Harrison, Bob, another one of those young freshman receivers. Put him together with Sanu and Savage at quarterback. That's a great nucleus moving forward for Rutgers.
That's why playing in this bowl game is so important. There's no question Rutgers has had an up-and-down season, Mark, for their expectations, which are new expectations at Rutgers. But the future looks bright for Greg Schiano. 5th straight bowl game. They've won 3 straight bowl games. Rutgers didn't go to a bowl game for 27 years.
There is no late hit, no flag.
I want to show you a great matchup tonight. Anthony Davis, 75, the left offensive tackle for Rutgers right here, going against Bruce Miller, the Conference USA Player of the Year. Anthony Davis, a projected first-round draft choice, Mark, 6'6", 325. Hasn't always reached his potential, but right now the 3rd offensive tackle projected in the draft as a junior.
Sanu out of the Wildcat formation up the middle, stopped up at about the 40-yard line, and Rob Stone has more on that offensive line for the Scarlet Knights. Rob?
Well, actually, it's more about the UCF defensive line trying to deal with that offensive line. I talked with UCF defensive line head coach Jim Panagos pregame, and he told me this Rutgers offensive line, guys, at least on tape, appears to be the most physical team they will face all year. Remember, they took on Texas and Miami. What he learned in those 2 games were that his D-line needs to make more plays. Sounds simple, but to achieve that, He says, we've been practicing getting off the ball and using our hands more violently. I love that. The term he uses, shock and lock. Hands explode forward to the point you lock out your elbows and create that separation.
Sounds like a little mixed martial arts. That pass complete. Underneath to Sanu, and Sanu with a first down at the 25-yard line of UCF. The true freshman hanging on to it that time from Tom Savage to pick up 16 yards.
Well, Tom Savage saw man-to-man coverage, Justin Body on Mohamed Sanu, and you're going to see him coming open right there, Mark. That is a big, strong young man. Came into this game with 47 catches and 49 carries.
And a great compliment on the other side from Tim Brown. There's Martinek stopped up right around the line of scrimmage.
Mark, we talked about, Rob Stone talking about this UCF defensive line. I mean, this is a good-looking defensive line. Terrell Troop, you see right there, 98, 315 pounds. He'll be the first player drafted from UCS this spring. Then you have Bruce Miller at defensive end, 12 sacks from Georgia, was a linebacker. He'll move inside and play 3 technique. But they've got 2 big 300-pound tackles inside and good speed on the outside.
I'm going to ask you about the flip side of that equation after this play. Savage looking downfield, had a man wide open, Sanu, but missed him, and it's incomplete. Bob, we talked about how stout UCF is against the run. Conversely, against the pass, they're number 112 in the country. Is that a misleading stat or not?
Not misleading at all. They graduated 4 defensive backs from last year. They have 2 true freshmen starting in the secondary. So that is the weakness of UCF's defense right now because of youth. Not talent, but because of youth. And here you see Rutgers spreading them out in a 5-wide empty look.
Savage out of the shotgun. Underneath complete. Number 3, Shamar Graves, the tight end. And a first down for the Scarlet Knights. An 18-yard pickup for the 6'3 junior.
That's a tough matchup, Mark. Shamar Graves was a wide receiver that they converted to tight end. So you see him right there as the inside slot receiver. That's really a wide receiver running an option route on a linebacker. He's going to win that. I mean, he is a wide receiver, really, by trade. That's a tough matchup situation for UCF.
All right, here's Sanu now, Bob, out of the Wildcat formation.
He's thrown 6 passes, Mark, but I think you're going to see quarterback running.
Little counter move, Sanu. Dragged down at about the 1-yard line. He picked up 6. Mohamed Sanu gives you a bunch of different options back there. 2nd and goal coming up for the Scarlet Knights.
See why the NFL scouts like Anthony Davis. Watch the big offensive tackle now pull around, Mark. Little quarterback misdirection that everybody runs. There comes big Anthony Davis around, and that's a big man up in that hole right there.
Sets up a 2nd down and goal. So far, we haven't said Bruce Miller's name all that much. Davis keeping him a little bit quiet. There you see Miller, 49. And run it again. Touchdown, Rutgers, Sanu.
Little quarterback power.
Sanu with his 2nd touchdown of the night. And it's a touchdown that's got the Knights scratching their head. The other Knights on the other side of the field.
Well, Rutgers offense comes into this football game 99th in the country. Have really struggled late in the season, but impressive tonight against a good UCF defense. I'm surprised how easily they've moved the football.
Well, for those people that were wondering if there was going to be a hangover after they lost to West Virginia, certainly not so far. When we come back on the other side, we'll document an indelible year of memories in college football.
ESPN Monday Night Football, Giants-Redskins at 8:30.
Hon, what time is it?
It's more fun time. You can play Rock Band too with your family. Lay your weary
What is it about a guy and a guitar? You can use Facebook on your Xbox 360. Oh, look, Mom's a fan of Greco-Roman wrestling.
Xbox 360, starting at $199.
ABC, your NBA Christmas Day destination. A full day of holiday hoops is highlighted by a stellar doubleheader on ABC. First, two of the favorites in the East square off as Dwight Howard and the defending conference champs battle the Celtics. Then, unwrap the highly anticipated duel between the best in the game.
Put that in your stocking on Christmas morning.
As Kobe leads the Lakers against LeBron and the Cavs. NBA Christmas Day presented by Sprite. The action gets underway at 2 Eastern on ABC.
Excuse me. When you get a minute, can... When you get a minute?
Not too heavy, not too light. Bud Light. The difference is drink.
You value your friends. So does DirecTV. Bob's worth 100. So are Carrie, Ann, and Sue. For every friend you refer to DirecTV, you get $100, and they get $100 on top of our new customer offer. Just give your account number to your friends and have them call 1-877-4-100 each. They must have your account number when they order. This offer's only good for a limited time, so hurry. Then celebrate and watch the Benjamins stack up.
Back in St. Petersburg, Rutgers leading 21-10. It's been another riveting year of college football. Here's what we call our most impactful moments. Blunt nailing Howard. That is unconscionable, reprehensible behavior. There's no excuse. You couldn't have scripted this one any better.
That Husky dog may have his bite back, Mark Jones.
Tim Tebow is down. Tim Tebow is supine. Symbolic show of unity on the field. Well, that's part one of our favorite and most indelible memories so far in college football. We've got part two coming up a little bit later for you. Here's UCF on the kickoff return. This is McDuffie, who had a 65-yard kickoff return a little bit earlier to start this game off, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 35-yard line. I'm Mark Jones along with Bob Davey, Rob Stone down in the field. And Bob, when you think of our crew, weather delays twice this year, but we had lightning delays twice this year. Tim Tebow getting knocked out. Steve Sarkisian making a successful comeback out in Washington. What do you remember most?
How fast the season goes. I mean, when you're broadcasting, the season flies by because you're undefeated. You never lose. Now, when you're coaching and you lose a couple games, that season sometimes seems like it'll never end. But when you're undefeated like we are, Mark, that season just flies by now.
13-0. That pass incomplete.
But we really have. I mean, to start off the season out there at Boise, and then to see Oregon come back the way they've come back under Chip Kelly. I mean, that is a great story. To have Bobby Bowden's last season at Florida State be a part of that. I mean, we could go on and on. The Big East, the emergence late in the season of the Big East, the Pittsburgh, West Virginia game.
You think about that rain delay, that lightning delay down in Tallahassee, and how gracious Bobby Bowden was to speak with us during that delay, in spite of all the heat that he was under at the moment. Hodges complete to Rocky Ross. And Ross near a first down at the 39-yard line. Picked up about 10 on the play with 5.5 minutes to go here in the first half. UCF needs to get a little something going here. Rutgers has seized the momentum. And one of the themes that was developing in the Rutgers secondary was what would happen without the likes of Devin McCourty in there.
Well, it's been a big night for Billy Anderson. No question, the 6-foot senior out of West Orange, New Jersey.
the run. And just to finish that off, our Rob Stone still hasn't been told any further information on the injury of Devin McCourty. Flag down on the play.
Holding. Number 73 of the offense.
This UCF team, they're number 2 in the country in the least amount of penalties behind Navy. The reason they won is they don't make these kind of mistakes.
They made one right there. And for more on the Devin McCourty situation, let's go downstairs to Rob.
Yeah, Jones, I'm actually getting some information right now. It pays to be a local resident down here. He is actually inside the Rays Medical Facility, inside the bowels of the stadium right now. I've been keeping a close eye on the team tunnel. No sign of him at all. Again, very interesting. He walked into the tunnel with help, but they had requested a wheelchair for him that he did not use.
Oh, big hit down in the field. Thanks a lot, Rob. And until then, you would bet that UCF trying to find Anderson in the secondary to work on him. Harness that time making the big hit.
Yeah, that was a great hit. Harness is a guy, a freshman from Saddlebrook, New Jersey, number 42. Another young freshman playing for Rutgers. You know, Rutgers is located in an area. There are a lot of good football players. The problem they've had in past years prior to Greg Schiano, keeping these guys home. He's keeping them home now.
Well, it's an area that's recently been the focus of attention from another conference. That pass complete at the 44-yard line to Rocky Ross, who hung on to it despite taking a huge hit from Zaire Kitchen, a 19-yard pickup on the play.
Mark, I told you Rutgers man-free coverage, and then they play a lot of cover 2. And anytime you play cover 2, you try to go up the seam right there. Right there, you see that void in the zone right there. Good hit by Zaire Kitchen, but good recognition right there by Brett Hodges, UCF quarterback.
From the 44. This is Harvey running hard this time. Nice gain by Bryn Harvey. Picked up 9 on the play. You know, last year, UCF had 8 rushing touchdowns. Harvey has 14 coming into this game, already surpassing the total of the entire team a season ago. It really punctuates how this offense has been a lot more productive this year for UCF.
And he's a workhorse, Mark. I mean, he's a guy, that old cliche, he gets stronger as the game goes on. It's true. I mean, he had 42 carries against Memphis, 35 carries against Houston.
Got enough for the first down. Hodges that time. And that last carry, number 42, actually went for a touchdown against Memphis. And a first down by Brett Hodges.
You take a look at this turnaround at UCF. It's obvious. I mean, from 4-8 to 8-4. But you know, Mark, it's the little things. What doesn't show up, as I mentioned before, number 2 in the country, fewest penalties. Turnover margin, number 15. You know, they're not great at anything. They're just a solid football team that doesn't make mistakes. And that's why they were to bounce back at 8-4. They're not a flashy team, though.
Play fake by Hodges going up top. Into the end zone. Caught. Touchdown. Aiken.
Mark, this is pretty. That throw by Brett Hodges to Kamar Aiken. You're talking about a guy that was a 4-year backup at Wake Forest. Just watch this throw right here. That is a beautiful picture right there. And Brett Hodges, I give you a lot of credit.
Brett Hodges, a young man that was almost destined to play at UCF ultimately. After transferring from Wake Forest, coming here, went to all the camps as a kid. His mom and dad met at UCF, fell in love, were married. And boy, you're talking about a nice hookup right there. Hodges to Aiken for 7. Back after this.
It was a horrible feeling, like I couldn't catch my breath. I couldn't believe I was actually having a heart attack. I remember being at the hospital, thinking about my wife. I should have done more to take care of myself. Now I'm exercising, watching my diet, and I trust my heart to Lipitor.
Unlike some other cholesterol-lowering medications, Lipitor is FDA approved to reduce the risk of heart attack, stroke, and certain kinds of heart surgeries in patients with several common risk factors or heart disease. Lipitor is backed by over 17 years of research. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. You need simple blood tests to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor if you are taking other medications or if you have any muscle pain or weakness. This may be a sign of a rare but serious side effect.
I'll never forget what I went through. Don't take your health for granted.
Have a heart-to-heart with your doctor about your risk and about Lipitor.
No matter what goes down, recovery will fix you up. And get a fix on the hangover. Buy it on Blu-ray and DVD.
Itchy dry scalp? Could be your shampoo. Now there's a new Selsun Blue just for itchy dry scalp. Strong itch fighters target the source of scalp itch, while 5 moisturizers keep hair healthy.
No more itch.
New Selsun Blue itchy dry scalp.
Got a clue? Get the blue.
When I think of value, I think of something that's going to last. Something that's priced right. I think of Wrangler. Always have.
For unbeatable comfort and value, you can count on Wrangler 5-star premium denim jeans. Built comfortable with a relaxed fit. Priced right for a great value.
You can pay more, but you won't get more.
Wrangler, real, comfortable jeans.
Look at Brett Hodges of UCF studying his details and homework on the sidelines and threw a touchdown a few moments ago.
You know, George O'Leary said it best about Hodges. He said he's so calm, he looks like he's asleep half the time. That's pretty calm.
Well, he got the crowd excited with that nice touchdown toss a few moments ago, capping an 11-play, 58-yard drive.
It's a great story, Mark. I mean, that's what college football is all about. You know, you may argue about, is it really fair that a guy plays 4 years, graduates from a university? The reason that rule's in is so you can go to graduate school at a place that maybe didn't have the major you wanted. But it's a great story. I mean, a guy comes out of nowhere who was a backup and gets a chance to play in his bowl game. And his mom and dad both went to UCF.
Still putting the student in the student-athlete logo.
I don't know if Rutgers loves that story, but it's a good UCF story.
There is Tim Brown, and there's a flag down to the play at the 27-yard line. Still waiting for the call on that flag. We have an SEC officiating crew working this game tonight.
A block in the back. Number 10 of the kicking team.
How about that?
10-yard penalty from the end
now
of the
that's
line.
one you don't see very often right there, Mark. A block in the back by the kicking team.
Hey, Chris Fowler, Tim Brown's ankle looking pretty good so far. Back to you.
That's been a big story. Thanks, Mark. Desmond and Kirk will join me on the Cars.com halftime report. We'll have highlights of that double OT thriller that kicked off bowl season. Talk about teams in desperate need of a bowl win. And also the Horns make a big statement on the hardwood in Dallas against North Carolina. It's coming up in the Cars.com halftime report.
All right, thanks a lot, Chris. Boy, what about that game down in Dallas, Texas and North Carolina, and that big screen, huh?
What's up with Roy Williams' arm? What's that injury? That's
I'm not sure. Not sure how he did that. But I tell you, we had a chance to do that Arkansas Texas A&M game down in that huge stadium. It was fun.
Timeout for the first half.
Timeout called on the field as Rutgers with 2 timeouts remaining and UCF also with a pair remaining. Back down on the field to Rob Stone for an injury update.
Yeah, Mark, we've just received further information about Devin McCourty. He is on his way right now to St. Anthony's Hospital. It's just a few blocks away here from Tropicana Field, and they have called in an ophthalmologist to the hospital to make sure everything is all right with his eyes and to continue further evaluation of him. So that kind of lets you know it's an injury above the neck.
You know, Mark, one thing that I think is interesting for people at home, you know, and I'm not 100% sure if Rutgers has this policy, but I would presume they did. Those trainers call those parents immediately. You know, they have every parent's home number, every parent's cell number, so there's constant communication to the parents.
That's the
which
protocol?
is so critical. Yeah, I mean, you see your son injured, whether it's on television or even if you're in the stadium, the first order of business is get in touch with those parents.
There's Savage. They set up the screen well. This is Martinek still on his feet, leaping over one defender and out near midfield.
That's a great execution of the screen. He's got some excellent blocks downfield by the offensive lineman, Mark, but this screen is set up beautifully by Tom Savage. Look at 61 out in front. Ryan Blasik, the center.
Here's Savage downfield and incomplete. Hey, Bob, back to Martinek. Didn't that jump kind of remind you a little bit of Leonard? He had that Leonard leap. Remember the former running back for Rutgers? That was his deal, too.
Yeah. Now what you need to find is a Ray Rice kind of guy that plays like Ray Rice.
That's not easy. A little tougher to come up with.
I'd say that was a good collision right there. Just listen to this one out here. So many times two players on the same team colliding are the worst injuries.
Over the middle, incomplete. That was intended for Brown. And it's 3rd down and 10 coming up now for Rutgers.
Pass protection, Mark. Sacks allowed. Rutgers has really struggled, 112th in the country. We know this is an excellent pass rushing UCF team. Pass protection right now, 3rd down and 10.
Savage misfiring, and there's a flag down to the field. It was intended for Brown.
You know, a lot of penalties in this game, Mark. And, you know, normally in a bowl game, you understand why, because there's a long layoff. This bowl game's really like an open date for these teams.
Yeah.
They don't have that excuse.
5 men in the backfield on the offense. Penalty is declined.
That's the second one of those right there for Rutgers tonight.
Hey, Bob, you look at head coach Greg Schiano. We talked about Martinek and Leonard, but the real linchpin of the resurgence of this Rutgers program was Ray Rice. How do you recover? How do you even fill the shoes of a guy that was so prominent in building the program to where it is right now?
Well, they're doing it by committee right now. You see, they really play 2 or 3 different tailbacks. They're doing it with the Wildcat to try to get the explosiveness in there. You don't replace a Ray Rice. I mean, he is coming on right now as maybe one of the premier backs in the NFL. I mean, I love watching him play for the Ravens.
A high punt. Allegana's punt. Going to be fielded and fair catch at the 14-yard line, a 34-yard punt and nothing on the return.
And you remember, Mark, when we met with Ray Rice a couple years ago, we did the Cincinnati game up there. What a great personality. I mean, you knew the moment he walked in, there was something different, a contagious kind of personality. You know, not a very big guy.
No.
I mean, not a big guy. Maybe not the fastest guy, but there's something special about Ray Rice.
And the resurgence, as I mentioned, of this Rutgers program really coincided with their best years with Ray Rice being on the field. Hey, UCF has kind of stemmed the tide a little bit and seized a little bit of the momentum. See what they can do here with 1:46 to go in the first half. Down by 4. Picked off. Wow, don't call it a comeback. They've been picking on him time and again.
How about Billy Anderson stepping up? The senior stepping in for probably the best corner in the Big East, Devin McCourty. Been burned a couple times, Mark, but response. First of all, line stun up front. Great pressure by number 31, George Johnson. Bad decision right there by Brett Hodges. But you have to be happy for Billy Anderson.
You talk about going from 0 to hero in a matter of minutes or seconds even.
Uncharacteristic of Billy Hodges, of Brett Hodges right there. But the pass pressure by George Johnson forced that throw.
But Bob, just as it seemed that UCF, and you see the dejection written all over A.J. Guyton, speaking with his quarterback, just as it seemed that they were regaining some of the momentum.
Right, Mark. And, you know, they're a team, as we said, UCF is not a flashy team. They've won because they have not turned the football over. That's 2 big turnovers, 2 interceptions tonight by Brett Hodges. One to Munoz on the first series of the game when they had excellent field position. Now the touchdown to Billy Anderson. And I promise you, Billy Anderson has a little more bounce in his step right now.
So, hey, you want to pick on me? Let's have it. That's his 2nd interception of the season and a big one. Easily the biggest one of the season for him.
That's a UCF fan right there.
Easily.
He doesn't have any gold on, but I can tell by that look on his face. Look at, he knows the camera's on too.
He's a little glazed over right now.
No, he's upset about that interception.
28-17 after that pick 6.
To this UCF program, the facilities they have built. You know, you're talking about a school, what, 52,000 students?
3rd largest public university in the country behind Arizona State and Ohio State University.
Yeah, and you know, known as a commuter school, but that's not the case now. They have changed that to where with the on-campus stadium, they sell out the beautiful stadium. They've got an indoor facility that's second to none. I mean, UCF's a force to be reckoned with now.
Yeah. But you know what? A win for Rutgers, and they can go down on the block from Central Florida all the way down to South Florida and say, hey, maybe you want to come to Rutgers because we beat these guys. Here's McDuffie on the kickoff return. Still on his feet, some quick feet. And McDuffie brought down at about the 41-yard line, and there's a flag down in the play once again. Well, UCF trying to join the ranks of the Big 3, which include Miami, Florida, and Florida State. South Florida seemed to be on the cusp for a while.
Well, South Florida beat Florida State this year. You know, so maybe. But you talk about this state, Mark. I mean, that's impressive right there. And don't think for a second, you talk about Rutgers with 11 players, 4 starters from the state of Florida. They feed a lot of other programs too.
Yeah. Well, you know, for the longest time, Greg Schiano, the head coach at Rutgers, ran his coaches show on a lot of the sports channels down in the state of Florida.
Yeah, I think there's something like 28 coaches shows on now in the state of Florida. So he might have been one of the first, but there's a bunch of guys followed now.
You could have satellite TV. Aiken Guyton, actually, and it's incomplete.
How about Billy Anderson?
He's really rebounded.
I hope he's in good shape. You know, sometimes when you're a backup player, you don't condition as much, and you can't get the kind of conditioning you get in the game because you don't play. I hope he's in good shape, Mark, because he has been tested tonight, and they're going to keep testing.
Is he going to take that personally at some point, Bob, do you think?
He's already done that. He's already done that.
2nd and 10 coming up for UCF at the 46-yard line. Bryn Harvey in the backfield. Hodges going up top. And incomplete. It looked like one of his receivers broke off the pattern. Yeah. Rocky Ross was the closest one to the ball.
And miscommunication. But I'll tell you, they're having a hard time blocking George Johnson, number 31. You know, 13 career sacks. This guy's a little bit of an undersized defensive end. Looks more like an outside linebacker, but he's a good pass rusher. Another New Jersey guy. Keep an eye on 31 right here, Mark.
That's Johnson. They run a little twist stunt. Pass complete right around midfield. Pass complete for 5 yards. Guyton on the catch. For Billy Anderson, Bob, a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. There's the bad. Victimized for the touchdown.
It's about as good as it gets right here, though, isn't it? He stumbled a little bit, but had enough juice to get in that end zone. And there's more to come because Rutgers a man-to-man team. He plays out there on the corner. He's a little tired, Mark.
You think he's winded?
A little tired.
He never expected to get all this action coming into the game, especially, hey, when you're backing up an all-conference performer like Devin McCourty, I mean, you're not getting a lot of usage.
Yeah, and it's not like you're playing a lot of zone coverage where you kind of protect an area. You're playing man-to-man, chasing guys all over the field.
Bob, when you look back at the last decade and some prominent sophomores, some good sophomores on the field here tonight, but what about some of the sophomores that won the Heisman Trophy? Ingram recently, Bradford, and Tim Tebow, the young guys really making an impact in college football.
Yeah, how about 3 sophomores? But what about Mark Ingram and his acceptance speech? One of the best I've seen. I mean, just totally spoke from the heart. I mean, that's an impressive young guy now.
Bradford maybe perhaps second-guessing himself coming back. And what now comes of the Tim Tebow future?
And on 4th and 5, I know George O'Leary's tempted to go for it right here with 45 seconds left. Probably a good decision, Mark, to punt that football.
A high spiral. Sanu watches it bounce over his head. And this one carries into the end zone. It'll come back out to the 20-yard line. The UCF fans looking for it to be spotted inside the 5, but the official right there on the spot says it went into the end zone.
Yeah, that was an easy call right there. But you know, Rutgers with 2 touchdowns off of turnovers by UCF. And that really has been the story of this football game. The UCF, the 2 interceptions by Brett Hodges tonight.
Well, you look at Rutgers at 8-4, and the real pivotal turning point for them this season was that Maryland game. They went into it facing a lot of adversity and came out on top. It really seemed to set the tone for their backbone the rest of the way. Martinek running it and brought down after a gain of about 3. You know, it's interesting. You look at Martinek, and we talked about Rutgers doing it by committee in the backfield. He's a pretty popular guy when it comes to being one of those local New Jersey favorites. Bob Davey, I logged on to joemartinek.com and noticed that there were some 33,000 hits that had been on that website. Joe Martinek has his own website.
Yeah, and it won't be long till Mark Jones probably has his own website seeing the success.
Well, now that you ask. Well, that's the end of the first half. Let's go down to the field and Rob Stone with Coach O'Leary.
Well, Coach, what'd you tell your quarterback Hodges after that interception?
It looks like he's trying to make the perfect play. He's holding the ball too long, number one, and I don't like the timing. We're a little bit too long in the huddle, getting out, not enough time on the clock then when he gets down to the line of scrimmage. So I just thought he was a poor read, bad throw, and obviously causes some points. That's about 14 points we put on the board with some mistakes, but we'll go in, regroup, and get the mistakes corrected. Let's come out second half.
What was the philosophy on that offensive drive? Looked like you guys were getting momentum back.
We were going 2 minute. I mean, it's minute 46 left. We're going to go 2-minute drill. It's a bowl game. You know, the deal is to score points, and we've done that well in the past. We just didn't execute very well there.
Coach, appreciate you joining us live. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Rob. The score at halftime, Rutgers leading 28-17. Right now, we're going to join Chris Fowler, Desmond Howard, and Kirk Herbstreit for the Cars.com halftime report. Chris is about tempo.
All right, Mark, Bob, thank you very much, and welcome back into the studio. Yeah, O'Leary hit on the key point there, along with Rob Stone at the end of the half. 2 picks by Hodges, one early in the half, one late in the half, and it was costing him 14 points. That's why Rutgers has the lead.
There's no doubt about that. But, you know, I was surprised, Chris, the way Rutgers moved the ball up and down the field. You're talking about a team that in total offense ranks 99th in the nation. But Tom Savage and Tim Brown, those guys, Sanu, they moved the ball up and down the field at will against UCF. That really kind of surprised me in the first half.
Well, the offensive coaches from Rutgers have put together a great plan. And you got to wonder how this is going to go in the second half, because interesting, listening to Rob ask the questions of George O'Leary, that touchdown pass by Hodges, all of a sudden it's 21-17. UCF gets the ball back. I thought they might be a little bit more conservative, try to go into halftime down by 4. Instead, they try to get aggressive. They throw the ball, and it ends up obviously being picked off.
Yeah, and Billy Anderson, who is a backup for McCourty, we certainly hope he's okay. He's at the hospital. He's an NFL-type prospect. Anderson doesn't get much glory in the season. A huge play for Rutgers. And, yeah, you're right. Against the UCF rush defense that's top 5 in the country. Good job by Rutgers. And good pass protection. Davis and those guys up front for Rutgers.
Hodges is going to have a big second half, obviously, for UCF to have a chance to come back in this game.
I think, Rutgers intercept the ball the way they did in the first half. Didn't surprise me. They lead the nation in turnovers with plus 20 in the turnovers.
Hey, speaking of comebacks, what about the Pokes of Wyoming? Big dogs in Albuquerque. A stunner to open bowl season.
Go. Just let go. Oh, to just let go. Just let go.
Let's go.
Just let go.
Just let go for the fun. Just let go for the adventure. For the lazy and the crazy times where the ocean meets the sun.
In this sandy white oasis, no matter what your pace is, you can get away, while away, hide away, break away, trade winds, island resort.
Oh, come on, just let go.
Wanted to get myself a new cell phone so I could hear myself as a ringtone. Who knew the store would go and check my credit score? Now all they let me have is this dinosaur. Hello, hello, hello.
Mohamed Sanu, he had a muffed punt, but he more than made up for that mistake with some exciting offensive plays in the first half. Dives in for a touchdown. Scarlet Knights over Golden Knights by 11.
Some say
a college football game down in St. Pete. Brett Hodges, a couple of costly picks, as we told you, but this touchdown to Kamar Aiken, they'll try to bring UCF back. They're down by 11 at the break.
Blue.
Before there was a United States, our college was founded in the heart of New Jersey.
Before I became a CEO in the global marketplace.
Before I earned my Super Bowl ring.
Before I was hired as the apprentice. Before I wow my audiences on stage.
Before I won the Pulitzer Prize.
I learned about the world.
I earned my degree.
I was a Rhodes Scholar.
I studied writing.
I motivate my students.
At Rutgers.
At Rutgers.
At Rutgers.
Jersey Roots, global reach.
This games, that's tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern Time. Well, Mohamed Sanu had a pair of touchdown runs in the first half. Rutgers leads it by 11. Mark, Bob, and Rob will have the second half from St. Pete.